The following is a presentation of the Arizona Cardinals Broadcast Network.
Detail your work, let's go!
This is Cards HQ. From team headquarters in Tempe, your host, Jody Jackson.
We saw signs of life from the Cardinals on Sunday, so much so that after the first 15 minutes, a victory looked not only possible, but probable. But what happened over the next 45 minutes is confusing and disappointing as the Cardinals fall to 0-3 on the season. Hi everyone and welcome to Cards HQ. I'm Jody Jackson. The Bears scored 16 unanswered points, and by the time the game ended, with Josh Rosen in at quarterback, who will be the quarterback going forward, well, the early success was a faded memory, and there are still plenty of things beyond the quarterback spot to fix, notably the run game. David Johnson, 12 carries for 31 yards, and while the defense played well in some aspects, they still need to do a better job stopping the run. But the quarterback situation is the first order of business going into Week 4. We saw the change with 4:31 left to go in the game, and the Cardinals will turn again to Josh Rosen, getting his first start against the Seahawks at home this week.
You know, looking at the situation, evaluating the film, evaluating the quarterback position, I decided that Josh Rosen would be our starter going forward. Josh plays with a lot of confidence. I think he gives us the opportunity to be able to be successful.
It was a roller coaster of a game, the highs of the first quarter to the drama of the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at our pivotal moments. Would today be the day the Cardinals got the season jump-started? It looked promising early. First possession facing 3rd and 4 from their own 31. Great protection, and Sam Bradford finds Christian Kirk for 30 yards. 2 plays later, Bradford and Ricky Seals-Jones connect on the biggest play of the season so far.
Here comes play action, trying to set up a deep ball. Pass left side, Seals-Jones wide open, caught, 10-5, touchdown! That's the offense we were expecting in 2018.
The defense gets in on the party. Robert Condici strip sack, Corey Peters falls on it, and the Cardinals capitalize immediately. Bradford finally finding David Johnson out in space.
Shotgun snap, Bradford drops back to throw with time, and then lobs it deep far side into the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown by David Johnson.
So the first quarter ends in new territory for Arizona with a 14-0 lead. As the first half was winding down, Cardinals protecting a 14-3 lead. Chandler Jones gets his hand on the Trubisky pass, and Trey Boston with a tremendous interception. But this time the offense cannot capitalize. Bradford is sacked and essentially knocks the Cardinals out of field position. Second half, Arizona begins to hurt themselves. Bradford overthrows J.J. Nelson, and it's intercepted by Eddie Jackson. The Bears make him pay as Jordan Howard punches it in, 14-10 now. Next possession, another interception. Bradford trying to make a play and squeeze it into Chad Williams. McManus steps in front, and the Cardinals turn it over on consecutive possessions. That resulted in a Cody Parkey field goal, good from 41 yards out, and the 14-0 lead is now a precarious 14-13 lead. Bradford got the stagnant offense rolling again. First, he hits David Johnson for 12 yards. Johnson making guys miss. Then it's Kirk down the left side for 32 yards. But then Bradford, feeling the pressure, tries to use his legs, and Khalil Mack forces the fumble. It's recovered by Danny Trevathan. So with more than 11 minutes left, Josh Rosen is told he's going in. Parkey gives the Bears the lead with a 43-yard field goal. Rosen enters. 4 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game. His first few throws are right on the money. He moves the Cardinals down the field. Jermaine Gresham for 9. Christian Kirk a gain of 10 yards, and then Chad Williams for 8. Facing a 3rd and 2. With
Josh Rosen, the quarterback, and Chase Edmonds stacked one behind the other on the biggest play of the season, 3rd and 2, and they're going to hand it off for Edmonds running left. He is tackled in the backfield at the 45-yard line for a loss by Bilal Nichols.
4th and 5, Rosen pressured, and Bryce Callahan picks it off. One more chance for a Hail Mary, and Rosen is sacked. The Cardinals lose 16-14.
Dang. You know, it's coach's decision. Obviously, respect his decision. Like I said, I think more than anything, just disappointed that I put the team in such a bad spot today.
I felt like we needed a spark. You know, again, we got out to an early start, 14 points, got a little stagnant there, and wanted to try to spark the team, and that's the reason why I made that decision.
You know, you feel bad for Sam, you know, because he works his tail off every day, and you know he gives it his best. But you have a first-round pick, and I guess you're on borrowed time, you know, when you're in that position.
Now the focus shifts to Josh Rosen making his first career start. But right now, more on the timing of the decision to put Rosen into the Bears game. From Dave Pasch and Ron Wolfley, the guys check in with their post-game thoughts with the 2-minute drill.
Time for another edition of the Arizona Cardinals 2-minute drill. Dave Pasch and Ron Wolfley. Well, Wolf, it looked good early on. Cardinals were up 14-0. Sam Bradford's rolling. I assume coming in they were ready to go to Josh Rosen if Bradford struggled, but he didn't. So it became a situation, well, after the first interception, do we put him in? After the second interception, do we put him in? But then the fumble happened, and it was clear it was time to give Rosen a shot. And he had some good moments, but obviously he threw an interception as well.
You know, David, at some point in time, right, offensive football has got to provide hope to a football team, and I think after that last fumble by Sam Bradford, I think it was the right time to actually make that move. Now, I know that's crazy to think against the Chicago Bears and that great pass rush that they have in a pressure-packed situation like that. But to me, I do believe it was the right time to do it, believe it or not. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And I think just throwing Josh Rosen out there, knowing that this was going to be his debut, I don't think there was anything wrong in doing that, right? Maybe it actually acted as a shield to him, and he did provide a spark. That's what is incredible as well. The spark was there, and then all of a sudden he made a rookie mistake and turned it over.
The bright spot was the defense being on the field so long, only giving up 16 points. And the Cardinals can hang their hat on that if Josh Rosen is our quarterback, that we can still play good defense. We still have David Johnson, although he wasn't in for a critical third down, and that still gives the Cardinals a chance to win games.
Yeah, David, I mean, obviously the defense went out there and balled, only giving up 16 points in this game, but they still gave up way too much ground on the running game. I mean, to me, once again, the perimeter was attacked. The way the game started, they attacked right down the middle of the front seven. They've got to play better. They have to play better in terms of stopping the run, or this is going to be a situation where every team's going to come out, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do, is run the football, force the Cardinals to jam up that box, and then take some shots over the top.
All right, for Ron Wolfley, I'm Dave Pasch. That's another edition of the Arizona Cardinals 2-minute drill.
Thanks, guys. Coming up here on Cards HQ, we will go inside the numbers. We also have Robert Kimbichi mic'd up during the Bears game. And the hosts of Cards Cover 2, Mike Jurecki and Craig Grialou, check in looking ahead to the Seahawks game.
Cards HQ is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Yes, there is a bright side to Sunday's game. The Cardinals were one big play away from a W, but until they make those plays in crucial moments, the Cardinals will still have to prove they can do it. And winning is the only way to stop this snowball from rolling downhill. With more now, the co-hosts of Cards Cover 2, Mike Jurecki and Craig Grialou.
Thanks, Jody. The Seahawks are flying high, no pun intended, as they arrive in the Valley for this week's matchup against the Cardinals. Seattle beat Dallas over the weekend, and now that's their first win of the season. And when you talk about the Seahawks, MJ, you're talking about Russell Wilson, and it's amazing. You give Wilson time to throw, as Seattle did against the Cowboys. He had a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, now they went out and got a new offensive line coach. They got some new bodies on the offensive line, and they want to run the ball more. You go back to when they were making it back-to-back Super Bowls, they were rushing for over 500 times a season. Last couple of years, about 410 overall. But Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, C.J. Prosise, so they have a little bit more balance in their offense, but it all starts with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Carson over 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. When you look at the marquee matchup, before we touch on the Seahawks defense, the marquee matchup the Cardinals need to pay attention to, well, yeah, it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and in previous years, we've seen the Cardinals put a spy on Russell Wilson. I don't think he can do it the entire game, but there are certain situations, and Deone Buchanan had that opportunity. Unfortunately, now he's not starting, so maybe a guy like Budda Baker, Ben Wickery, if he's playing in the slot there or close to the line of scrimmage. It'd be curious to see. You're not going to totally shut him down, but you got to avoid the chunk plays. He is able to make plays on the run, throw the ball down the field. So if you can try to keep him in the pocket, easier said than done, though.
Seattle's defense, the Legion of Boom, has gone bust. I'm going to see if I can remember all the names that they have lost. There's Richard Sherman, there's Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, Sheldon Richardson. Who am I missing? Cam Chancellor, he retired. They do, however, still have some familiar names. Earl Thomas, one in particular, and he looked very, very good against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and obviously he's been on the trade block, according to reports, and right now, he played well in that game. So if he was interviewing for a job, the Cowboys would pull off that trade sooner rather than later. Now, the thing is, though, he did have 2 interceptions, as you pointed out. Both were off tip balls, so you got to be aware when he's around. Not only is he going to try to get the ball, but also you got to catch the ball so he doesn't get these interceptions. But he really is the guy that's going to get everyone lined up in the secondary.
Now, the rest of the NFC West, it's injuries, the stories, and none bigger than what San Francisco dealt with over the weekend as they lost to Kansas City and lost their quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, done for the season because of a torn ACL.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And they fell behind in that game. They were coming back. I don't think they were going to win, but obviously you want to put a good product out on film. Unfortunately, he should have went out of bounds. He was trying to get an extra yard, and it looked like he got hit in the shoulder or head. Turns out it was a knee ACL. Now they're going to turn to their 3rd-round pick, C.J. Beathard. They drafted him for a reason to back up Brian Hoyer a couple years ago. So I'm sure they're going to have to change their offense a little bit. They're going to try to run the ball, maybe get some of their weapons on the outside. I don't think they have enough weapons for Garoppolo or Beathard. You look at Pierre Garçon, he's going a little long in the tooth, and then Marquise Goodwin, who's had some injuries. So I think they need more weapons. And I'm surprised they didn't really go out and try to make a run at Josh Gordon. Obviously, he ended up in New England.
Now let's look at the Rams. 3 games, 3 wins. It's a short week for Los Angeles, but they're dealing with injuries as well. You look at their corners, Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, both out. How long? But it's certainly going to affect L.A.
At least 2 to 4 weeks, possibly. We'll see in the next couple of weeks. Also, Andrew Whitworth had minor surgery. He's one of their left tackles, a really good pickup last year. Listen, nothing against their defense. We know that they got Sue and Donald, and they got a lot of good players, but they're led by their offense. They're led by their play caller and Sean McVay. And listen, Jared Goff is better after 3 games than he was last year, and that's kind of scary to think. Todd Gurley, they got weapons on the outside. I don't know how you slow this team down.
Yeah, right now the Rams with Goff, as you mentioned, and Todd Gurley, number 3 in the league in yards, number 3 in the league in scoring as well. The Rams, they are 3-0, clearly the head of the NFC West.
Thanks, guys. Up next, Robert Condici is trending up. A bright spot for the Cardinals, and we'll go inside the numbers later on Cards HQ.
Welcome back to Cards HQ.
I'm Jody Jackson, back here at Cardinals headquarters. The first-round pick for the Cards back in 2016, Robert Condici, is healthy and showing what he can do out on the field. He was a disruptive force to the Bears' offensive line, forcing a fumble in this game that was recovered by Corey Peters. Well, how is he doing it? We'll take you on the field for the sounds of the game from Robert Condici, Wired.
The sound and fury of NFL football. Wired.
I'm about to see on this field, man. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. Oh, yeah. It's a fun time to be Arizona Cardinal and bring the energy today, baby. Let's rock, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yes. Dominate the line of scrimmage and we'll win this game. Handle your business. Let's go ahead. Deal out on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go! Ah! Let's go, man! Oh, yeah! I was almost back there. I'm coming. I know. Hey, you can't move me, big guy. Hey, you can't move me, baby.
3rd and 7 on the 27-yard line of the Cardinals, showing blitz again with Ben Wickery on the near side. Trubisky out of the shotgun. Has the football, drops straight back to throw, pumps, now steps up, fumbles the ball. It's loose at the 22-yard line, recovered by Corey Peters. Oh, yeah! A takeaway by the Cardinals defense. I wonder if they'll give Kimdichie a sack. He got a forced fumble because he was the one that knocked it out.
What a play by the big man.
There's no question the Cardinals defense could benefit from more production from the Cardinals offense, who have scored just 20 points in the first 3 games. That and much more here in Inside the Numbers. It's presented by La Mesa RV.
The Cardinals led Sunday's game against the Bears for 53 minutes until Chicago scored the go-ahead points with less than 5 minutes remaining. It was the defense's best performance so far in 2018, holding the Bears to only 316 yards and 5 of 14 on third down. Josh Bynes and Budda Baker led the D with 10 tackles apiece, 2 of Baker's a tackle for loss. Chandler Jones recorded a sack, his 30th with the Cardinals. He became the fastest to 30 sacks in team history, having reached the milestone in his 35th game with the Cards. The Cardinals' offense was dynamic in the first quarter Sunday, then anemic for the final 3 quarters. Sam Bradford started the scoring with the Cards' longest play of the season so far, a 35-yard strike to Ricky Seals-Jones. David Johnson hauled in a 21-yard catch for his first receiving touchdown of the season. Johnson now has more touchdowns, 35, than any player in franchise history through their first 4 seasons. His teammate Larry Fitzgerald previously held the record at 34. Coming off the bench, rookie quarterback Josh Rosen completed 4 of 7 passes for 36 yards and an interception. Receiver Christian Kirk had the best game of his young career with 7 receptions for 90 yards, including a 32-yard catch in the fourth quarter. Arizona's next opponent, the familiar rival Seattle Seahawks. Last season, Seattle won in Arizona 22-16, while Big Red came out on top in the Seahawks' home 26-24. The Cardinals haven't beaten Seattle at State Farm Stadium since 2012.
I've talked about all of the other things besides quarterback play that need to happen for a team to win, but let's face it, the quarterback is the engine. It gets things started, and with a quarterback change this week for the Arizona Cardinals, it could truly turn the season around. And for Josh Rosen, now as the starter, talking to the media every Wednesday is part of his duties.
Same mindset every week. I prepared every single week up to this point as if I was a starter, because anything can happen, and something has happened. So I always, doesn't change my preparation. I'm always balls to the wall all the time. I mean, I definitely lean on the other quarterbacks in the room, and Byron has helped me a ton, Coach McCoy as well. So, I mean, it definitely is an adjustment, but I usually study pretty hard through high school and college, and I think they're helping me study smarter, not harder. Just a lot of good luck. You deserve it. A lot of the people close to me know how hard I've been working my whole life for this, so hopefully I can put on a good display this weekend.
So how are the players reacting to the change at quarterback, and how are the coaches preparing for the Seahawks? Much more coming up on what will happen on Sunday against Seattle in Paul Calvisi's Wednesday Report.
Cards HQ has been brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
During the pre-draft process, we learned a lot about Josh Rosen, his maturity, his intelligence, and then, of course, his athletic ability out on the field. All of these things are a big reason why he'll get the start on Sunday. And with more, here's Paul Calvisi with the Wednesday Report.
Josh Rosen handles the Seahawks pass rush like he did his media session. He'll be all right. Reporters blitzing him with questions like, all right, you're the starting QB now, but really, who are you?
I am me, and I'm not trying to model my game, or I mean, I admire quarterbacks, but I don't try to emulate or or act like they do. I do me. I mean, it's gotten me to this point, so why change?
He has a lot of confidence, and you saw that when he went into the game this past week, you know, and you see it each and every day when he's out there, particularly today. So the guy does a tremendous job commanding the huddle. Guys respect him. You can tell they're feeding off his energy. So I just want him to go in there and relax and have fun.
Rosen saying that so far as a starter, the biggest difference is that he's busy, really busy. And yes, that includes, true to his rep, asking questions.
I will not run a play on a football field unless I know why we're running it and what we're trying to accomplish. I don't run a 4-5, so if things go bad, I can't just hit the exit button. So I like to understand a playbook in its entirety.
You want guys asking the question why, and I always try to tell the coaches, make sure we're coaching the why.
The Seahawks say they're not sure what to expect from Rosen or the game plan. They're even watching his UCLA film, but count on this much: he'll bring confidence.
I think a lot of the times an attitude and confidence and persistence is, I think that's good in sort of times when things aren't going too great like this. I mean, at least fake it till you make it. If you're not throwing the ball to the right receiver and getting to the right run play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. There's a demeanor about him that I saw from the first day he came into the huddle on OTAs, that he had a confidence about him.
Of course, one of the reasons the Cardinals made a QB change is because they're looking for win number one. So we'll leave you with Coach Wilks, asked about his approach right now.
Being in a leadership role, particularly my role, these guys are looking for direction. Human nature, you're down, you're disappointed, you're 0-3. You know, I got to set the tone each day I go in there.
Well, it's time to get the fans back, reignite the passion in the nest. A win against the Seahawks will go a long way for the Arizona Cardinals. It's tough to see past the final result last week, but for the first time all season, we saw some positives to pluck out of the game. And there were some wide open receivers. The passing game had its moments. Buda Baker, Patrick Peterson, Chandler Jones, and Robert Kondichi, to name a few, made big plays on defense. So more of that, and you begin to piece together a victory. And one win is all the Cardinals are focused on right now. Seahawks and Cardinals Sunday from State Farm Stadium. Until next week, I'm Jody Jackson.